Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. I find it strangely ironic, given the intended topic of this video, that I have to relate what it is I want to say within a video. Now, many of you are well informed as to the occurrences these past couple of weeks surrounding Alex Mauer and her massive and malicious wave of DMCA takedown strikes that have swept across both YouTube and Twitch, jeopardizing a vast number of content creators' livelihoods in the process. My last video left us with a feeling of hope that the issues that Mauer was causing would subside. However, less than an hour after that video went live, Mauer's position seemingly reversed, and after a second look at what it was that she was doing, the real reason behind her reversing the DMCA strikes she had issued became clear. You see, unbeknownst to most YouTubers and to Alex Mauer as well originally, the YouTube's DMCA system apparently works a little differently than it used to. Multiple videos taken down at once would only issue a single strike on the channel. This means that most of the channels affected, despite having multiple videos taken down at once, only received a single strike on their channel. As a result of this, Mauer's next action, born out of pure maliciousness, was to revoke all of the DMCA strikes she had filed in order to go back through and refile them for maximum damage, maintaining spreadsheets and utilizing them in order to ensure she would cause as much damage as humanly possible by ensuring that any channels with multiple videos had the takedowns filed separately so as to ensure a strike was applied to the affected content creator's channel for each video. As a result of this, smaller channels are now expressing a certain amount of genuine fear, which I feel was Mauer's intended result. What with all of the death threats and Mauer's impression that the world is against her, it is highly likely that Mauer has decided to blame the content creators she's been attacking for all of the grief that has befallen her. In Mauer's mind, it would seem that she has done absolutely nothing wrong, and the troubles that have now come to her life are very much the fault of YouTubers, myself and Leonard French in particular. As a result of this, she has issued death threats to both of us, has threatened to sue me, and had even gone through a failed attempt to issue a DMCA strike on one of my videos for having the sheer audacity to show a corner of a picture of a government document that shows Mauer's, quote, dead name. That attempt had YouTube respond, stating that it was, of course, fair use, and I was never even informed by YouTube that it had happened. Now, given Mauer's recent actions that could only be described as bitter malice, I had begun to suspect that she might have become addicted to the media attention that was being generated over the controversy. Total Biscuit, seemingly reading my mind, emailed me within 5 minutes of that thought even entering my head, expressing similar sentiments and asking me to not post another video, something I'd actually already decided to do. However, after seeing her actions and reactions without a large portion of the signal boosting that was occurring, I began to suspect that it wasn't addiction to the attention, but more a person who has deluded themselves into believing that they were in the right and is fighting a spiteful battle to damage those she believes to be her enemies as much as humanly possible. Possibly even to the point of being able to force those same content creators into her original intended hope of using them as leverage to force Imagos and Conatus into capitulation. It seems that the realities of the lawsuit has not settled into Mauer's brain quite yet, but in a couple of short weeks it will become very much a reality that can no longer be ignored, and it would seem that Mauer's seeking out legal advice means that she's possibly beginning to wake up to the realities of the situation, at least in part. But I know this is an eternity when it comes to videos on YouTube. Every day that a video is offline is lost revenue, lost visibility, and lost growth. There is little else in the world more damaging to a content creator's livelihood than a DMCA strike. But through all of this, I do still feel like all of the media coverage is egging Mauer on to greater and greater heights of disgusting behavior, pushing her to reveal just how despicable she's willing to become in her quest for money by any and all means necessary. I think that the media coverage generated, at least in Mauer's mind, as a means of control. The more she generated, the more eyes on her, the more she felt that she could do what she pleased, knowing that no one would actually touch her. YouTube's mandate to retain its safe harbor protection means that they could not interfere even if they wanted to. In these unprecedented number of DMCA strikes issued by a single person, Mauer has only underscored the flaws in the DMCA law and have shown with crystal clarity just how woefully out of date DMCA laws and safe harbor provisions, as well as fair use doctrine, actually are. But this doesn't change the reality of the situation at hand. Due to Mauer's vile actions, a great many people are scared for the future of their channels. To those people, I would say this: don't give in to fear. Now, I'm sure many of you will want to either private or remove any videos that can be struck down by Mauer or have already done so, and no one in the world would fault you for doing so. That is your choice, and it is your right to protect your channel. But just remember, the strikes will clear, and the whole situation with Imagos will see its day in court. I know a couple of weeks just to respond to the summons can feel like an eternity, but this too shall pass in time. What is needed now is not fear, but resolve. You have to remember that when one is afraid, they've already lost, and that is because they've already stopped thinking and have started reacting from a place of emotion. That is exactly what Mauer wants. She wants to turn everyone into a frenzied mob, unthinking and lacking focus and direction. Because if she manages to get everyone into that state, she feels that she might be able to control you. So don't give her that. Maintain focus. Make sure she can't take down your channels completely, and go about producing content. Regular content. The best thing for everyone right now is to take a breath, step back, and give the legal system a chance to work. Give Leonard French a chance to do his job. Because once Imagos has finished with her, every DMCA strike she has submitted in that regard becomes a potential lawsuit against her. I say this not out of a desire for revenge, as she's ultimately had no real effect on my channel itself, but out of a desire to see this through to its proper and just conclusion. This person has visited harm on over 100 people, their hopes and dreams along with them, all based upon greed and blind selfishness. These are not the actions of a good person in any way, and despite any feelings of sympathy anyone might have for this person, it doesn't change the fact that what Alex Mauer is doing is illegal, it is immoral, and she deserves to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law over the damage that she has done. So don't give in to her. Don't surrender to fear. Don't allow her any form of control over you in any way. And yes, that also includes channels like mine no longer giving regular updates on this situation. Because even though people are desperate for information on this case, the regular visibility and attention is helping to fuel Mauer, and it is something that I do not wish to keep feeding. Mauer, quite simply, doesn't deserve to have that much of my life or yours. In the grand scheme of things, Mauer is a petty, small creature that will forever be a villain in the eyes of all those she's affected, and I do not wish to give more attention to such a creature than necessary. I will update people on larger events and information that they should be kept apprised of, but really there's going to be very little more legitimate information coming from this situation until the legal process progresses. And I would ask other channels to follow suit in this, to be able to produce content that people can enjoy, instead of engaging in spreading the fear and chaos that Mauer craves. As always, feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and it has reached the point where so many people have actually requested SidAlpha t-shirts, I have decided to oblige. For an indeterminate period of time, you can get your own SidAlpha t-shirt, sweater, or hoodie over at teespring.com/SidAlpha. Link is in the description below. Nothing says taking pride in something more than advertising it to the world and wearing it on your body, so get your very own SidAlpha OG logo shirt now.